make a video and just kind of talk about if you were in the market for a Mustang, why you would want to get one. So when you compare it, there's really not too many things that are really that similar to it. And I'm kind of talking about, like, as someone who's had, this is my second Mustang, so I can kind of call myself kind of like an expert. Not really, but, you know, but if you were looking for something similar to this, there's really not too many options, right? You've got like a Camaro, a Corvette, which is really not the same, but it's similar, and maybe now a Dodge Challenger. But at least during this time period, there really wasn't all that kind of stuff, you know? Like in 2005, this was really, you know, a Ford Mustang was really the only thing like this. You know, how many V8 muscle cars were being made back in 2005? Not many, not many. So I'm gonna give you the reasons why, which led me to buy this, to buy a 2005 Ford Mustang, but also why I would persuade someone to buy a Ford Mustang as well. And the first reason why is affordability. Now, when you think about it, you know, I paid for a 13, 14-year-old car, I paid almost $10,000, which is a lot. But when you think about it, what else is there that you can get in this price range? You know, maybe a C4 Corvette or a C5 Corvette, but that's really it. You know, a lot of people knock Mustangs for their handling. They really don't handle that bad, you know, compared to, like, if you get in a SUV or something and you get back into something like this, it's really a big difference. They actually handle really well for the most part. You know, maybe not as well as like a Miata or something, but for the most part, their center of gravity is really low, so they handle pretty well. At least in this price range, you know, and for what you can buy a Mustang for, there really isn't too many things similar or better than it. Another thing, one of my favorite things about this car, and why I bought it in general, is the sound. A V8 muscle car, and I think a Mustang is one of the best sounding cars that there is. I mean, what sounds better? Maybe a Camaro, a Corvette, probably. But I mean, just, you know, that throaty V8 muscle car sound, it's one of the best sounding cars that there is. Outside of supercars too, you know. And also style. It's iconic, you know. From the first Mustangs, they're the fastbacks and stuff, all the way. I had a New Edge before this, and honestly, I think the New Edge is probably the best looking Mustang that there was or is. What we call a 3-valve, I think. It's a lot bigger, and it's an overall better car, but, well, the interior is better, but the exterior is really kind of lacking. And also reliability. One of the best things about a Ford Mustang is that, you know, I have 20,000 miles on this car, and I had another Ford Mustang, and I put about 50,000 miles on it, and both of them never really had any problems. And a lot of that has to do with, you know, just being an American-made car and just being cheaply made, which is a good thing in a way. But it's cheap, but it's reliable. When something breaks, it's usually not that expensive. And I mean, you know, for this car, I have a little over, like I said, a little over 20,000 miles on it, and I've never really had any issues with it. Just mainly, just because it's an older car. I mean, I've had some things go wrong with it. So, and also, you know, back to the affordability part. Pretty much, almost anyone can afford a Mustang. If you can afford a regular car, you can afford a Mustang. You know, that's not really true for hardly any other sports car, you know. At least that's not like a little 4-cylinder Toyota something. You know, outside of a supercar, I'd say a Corvette is, but a Corvette is, you know, twice the cost. So I would say, if you're thinking about buying a Mustang, you can do all the things you can with a regular car, which is not really true for a lot of other supercars. You know, some supercars, you can't drive them as a daily driver. That's another thing. For a Mustang, you can daily drive it. Like a lot of supercars and stuff, you can't really do that. So I'd say, like I said, if you want something you can daily drive, that's affordable. Now, there's a lot of cars that handle better than it. That's a given. But the sound and the reliability, I mean, you know, you can beat on a Mustang and have very few things to fix. So that's just kind of what's led me to own a Mustang. You know, I'm not, for what I could afford, for what I could afford economically and daily drive, it just makes sense. What are you doing, buddy? I don't know what he's doing. Anyway, so that's gonna pretty much wrap up this video. I just thought it'd be something interesting to share. You know, maybe if you're kind of on the fence about buying a Mustang, or maybe you are trying to narrow down your options or something, you know. But with that said, future videos, I want to do some cooking videos, which is kind of different. You know, cars and cooking, I don't know how that's going to work out, but I'm going to have more videos just talking about my car and me. So, if you like the video, give it a like, subscribe.